Welcome back to the Bleav in A's podcast.
We Bleav in A's baseball.
We are back in the studio to talk everything athletics baseball. This is your host, Tyler Texeira, with Luke Mitchell and Devin Neel. Shout out to the Bleav Network for believing in us. We are here twice a week talking about everything A's. This episode we're going to be going over how Brent Rooker is officially an all-star. Our boy, Brent. Again. Shout out to our boy, Brent Rooker, and, of course, Jacob Wilson. We talked about him last week, starting at short. Hopefully that injury is nothing too serious.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's actually not. I just read something. It's nothing. It's just a little bruise. He's all
that's
right.
Good. I am happy that they took him out of the game after that happened yesterday. Yeah. Shout out to Brent Rooker, one of the best hitters in the league, made the All-Star game for the A's. Also, we'll be going over the big win against the Braves in Game 1. Also, going over the series loss against the Giants. Shout out to Dev. I owe you $10 and 10 push-ups. Once again, A's won Game 1 against the Giants, destroyed them, and then Game 2 and 3, Giants had their number. So, Shout out to the Giants for winning that series. We'll also be going over the upcoming games and predicting some future All-Stars for the A's. Also, at the end of the show, our favorite A's memory.
The whole squad, you mean?
Predicting that all 9 position players are going to make it.
All the A's.
In the future.
At some point.
At some point, all 9 will make it.
They're going to be the American League starting
all 9 at the same time. I'm down. All right. Well, the A's record right now is 38-55, 17 and a half back of the AL West and 11 back of the Wildcard. Seems like every week we're talking about the record and how many games back we are, and it just keeps getting worse. We're not making any ground. So at this point, I don't know if we believe that they're going to make a playoff run. I hate to say it, but I don't know if we're on board with that.
I will say the wild card kind of stays around the same.
It does.
Like 9.5 to 12 games.
Yeah.
It bounces back.
Yeah.
But that's gotta start a streak, man.
Yeah.
Gotta get on a streak.
Still, even if we don't make it, even if we don't go on a crazy run to end the year, I think this has been a very exciting year for A's baseball, especially for us, learning about all these young guys, showing so much promise for the future. We just need to get that pitching staff on track. We have one of the best offenses in the MLB. On almost every rating, we're top 10.
Yep.
And then the pitching, we're bottom 10 in every rating. So
and that's where it matters. That's where it matters right there. You got the run support and everything, but if you don't have the pitching support, those runs don't matter.
Yeah.
Those runs don't matter.
I would even go as far as to say that if they didn't go on that run in the second half, that it was a successful year.
Yeah.
No matter what happens.
Yeah, I'm saying it still has been a pretty successful year with the young guys showing all this promise. Let's get into last night where, we see the A's at the first game of every series. It seems like they come out raking.
Yeah.
And then who knows what happens the next 2. But last night in Game 1, it was the A's beating the Braves 10-1. Crazy that the Braves have had such a bad year. The A's have pretty much the same record as the Braves, who have been, one of the best teams in the MLB the past 10 years, it seems like. And now this year, they just aren't. They're not on board.
They also have a great lineup.
They do.
Jackson Profar, who was an MVP candidate last year in San Diego.
He's been up there.
And then Matt Olson, one of the best first basemen in the league. Austin Riley, another great third baseman.
Yeah.
That just reminds me of when we had Chapman and Olson at the corners.
Yeah.
They have a great defensive side, but like us, honestly, it's like an opposite kind of thing. They have a good pitching staff, but then their bats just don't do nothing really right now.
So, something's going wrong in Atlanta for the Braves. Maybe it's just an off year. That happens with baseball a lot. They still have their same core guys that have been, making big playoff runs. I've always thought they were going to, maybe even win the World Series a lot of the time, and they haven't. So, I don't know. I think the Braves, next year, they'll probably be back on track to being a really good team, but this year just been a weird year for them.
Yeah.
Acuna's been injured a lot of it as well.
Yeah.
Didn't play yesterday, so that's big. Their best player. There's a ton of former A's on the Braves. Matt Olson, like you mentioned, starting at first base every day for them. Sean Murphy, the everyday catcher for them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Some of our favorite guys. Nick Allen is their everyday shortstop at this point. I didn't expect to see that.
I didn't expect him to be moved to shortstop.
Yeah,
dude,
he was playing second for the A's.
His arm's kind of weak.
Yeah.
He's a smaller guy.
Yeah.
Hey, as long as you're quick with it.
As long as you're quick. And
I've always liked him,
He's
though.
pretty quick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've liked him.
I've always liked him, but him starting as shortstop for them, not too big of a fan, even though we are some Nick Allen supporters,
Mm-hmm.
but they might have to upgrade that position.
They probably got somebody in the minors somewhere.
Yeah, they probably do.
They're going to bring up.
And Jurickson Profile, like you mentioned, playing the outfield for them, former A. Also, Jesse Chavez, the oldest player
No
in the
way.
MLB,
Yeah.
came in
Still
yesterday. This is his 4th stint on the Braves in his career.
Really?
He's been on the Braves 4 different times
I feel
in
like
his
he's been
career.
on the A's a couple of different
He's
times.
been on the
too.
A's, I
At
think,
least
once or
once.
twice. Yeah. Jesse Chavez has been everywhere in the league. But he's going down as a Brave. That's what it looks like.
I like it.
Yesterday, got raked, though.
I've always respected
I
you.
Yeah,
have not
definitely
heard that
respected him.
name since
2012.
tennis ball, baseball.
Exactly. Yeah, well, yesterday we'll go over what happened. The pitching matchup was Jeffrey Springs against Fuentes, the young right-hander for the Braves, who was actually the youngest player in the entire MLB. The pitcher who started for the Braves yesterday, he only went 1 inning, allowed 8 runs in 5 hits.
I mean, that's kind of why you see pitchers come up as 23 to 25-year-olds.
Yeah.
It's really tough for a 18-year-old, 19-year-old, even a 20-year-old to go out there and pitch against these stars. Seems like every team has stars, right? So it's just really hard for a young guy to go out there and do.
Literally a kid versus a bunch of grown men.
Yeah, he's only 20 years old.
Like, these are all grown men who have been doing it for, a lot longer, even though they've got, maybe 4 or 5 years. But then when you get to those real vets, they take care. Like, they're killing you.
You've only ever seen a couple guys that, came into the league as, 19, 20-year-olds that, lived up to what it was. Ken Griffey and Bryce Harper. Ken Griffey Jr. and Bryce Harper.
Yeah, those guys came up right away, and they were ready. And Nick Kurtz, shout out. But
especially for a pitcher,
for a pitcher, it's a lot
job
different
out there.
Well, his stuff is still pretty nasty, though. I think he's going to be pretty good, but being the youngest player in the entire MLB, you're going to have some bad outings, and he hasn't had a good outing yet in his career. Yesterday was only his 4th time on the mound in the MLB, and he got absolutely raked. First pitch of the bottom of the first inning, Lawrence Butler, on the first pitch, hit an inside-the-park home run. That was his 12th of the year to make it 1-0 A's. Also crazy stat, Lawrence Butler became the first athletics player in 82 years to hit a leadoff inside-the-park home run. Wow. Shout out Lawrence Butler.
And then first time in MLB history, going to the Giants.
Shout out.
First time in MLB history, there was a first pitch opening inside the park walk-off, and then Giants walked off with the inside the park. Or not a walk-off,
inside the park home run.
Sorry, yeah.
Stumbling
right here.
And then I think there was an immaculate inning yesterday too. So there are a lot of history.
What a day yesterday! What a day yesterday!
And it's gonna be a great game when Lawrence Butler first pitch.
Oh yeah,
gets all the way around the bases, and you're just sitting there like, we might score 20 runs this game.
Literally one of the oldest sports, in the U.S. and there's still history being made. Every day.
Every day.
Every single day.
It's crazy. Lawrence Butler, it was a lot different than the Patrick Bailey one. There was some similarities because it was both to right field, but that park in SF is a lot different. It hit the top of the wall in SF, and for the A's, that's
gone.
That fence is not as tall as an SF.
Well, no, not at all.
But the sun was a big factor for the Lawrence Butler thing. The outfielders could not see the ball.
And then also just that it landed right on top of the fence, but then it hit the chain link fence, bounced over to the right.
Yeah.
With the Giants, it hit the corner of the concrete, bounced
all the way to left field for the Giants.
Once the ball kicks away from an outfielder the opposite way.
Yeah.
If you got 20 speed, you're scoring. You're scoring.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
And Lawrence Butler has 90 speed.
Oh, yeah.
And he was booking it around the bases.
As soon as he saw that
it was
ball,
easy for him to make
that ball kick away, he probably slowed up a little bit.
Yeah.
He knew it was easy. It was easy score.
Yeah, for sure. So shout out to Law Dog. A big day for him yesterday.
Sick.
We'll get into more of that. But the second pitch of the bottom of the first inning, after that inside the park home run, the crowd was jumping. You could feel the energy in the crowd, and then it got all sucked out of it in the second pitch. Jacob Wilson got hit in the hand. Came out of the game right away. It was a bad one. He's not wearing any protection on that hand.
Yeah.
Looked like it got him
next
pretty
game.
good. Yeah, he
Next
definitely
time he
will.
plays.
He definitely will. Maybe for the rest of his career.
I hope he's not out tonight. I want to see him play.
Oh, dude, you're going to the game tonight.
Going to the game
Dude,
tonight.
You got to see Jay Willie.
That's exactly what happened to me before I went to the Giants game a couple weeks ago. Schmidt got hit on the hand, didn't play for a week.
Oh.
But I don't think it'll be that long for Jacob Wilson.
They might sit him out tonight, though. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it, Luke. I'm sorry.
What hand was it? Was it his bottom
left.
hand? His left hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, they're going to want to be cautious.
DH him.
For sure. DH him, maybe. If he could, I think it's more about gripping the bat, especially when it's your left hand, because you're not throwing with that. So if he could grip the bat, he's going to be fine. But I'm tired of these pitchers learn how to pitch inside or don't pitch inside, because we're getting way too many injuries from good players that are just getting hit on the hand. And the Giants won the game the other day in the bottom of the 8th because the dude hit 2 guys on the hand and on the arm, and it's just they don't know how to pitch inside effectively, and they don't care when they hit somebody because they don't got to go and stand in the box.
Yeah,
so.
that definitely hurts.
I'm getting tired of that.
Getting hit by 95 can never feel good.
It's looking like he wants to. He said after the game, he said, "Luckily for me, nothing serious, no break."
Yeah.
I'll just get some treatment, come back tomorrow, and see how it feels with the trainers.
Give him a cortisone and maybe take a game off, and he'll be all right. But for your sake, I hope he plays tonight.
I hope he plays tonight for your sake. I really do.
Pop some ibuprofen and put some ice on it.
Let's go. Well, going back to the first inning, the third batter of the inning came up with Jacob Wilson on first after the inside the park home run by Lawrence Butler. And then Brent Rooker hit his 19th bomb of the year, a 2-run shot, put the A's up 3-0 in the first 3 batters of the bottom of the first inning.
Kabang.
Looked like the 4th of July part 2.
Yeah, 4th of July part 2 for the A's. Brent Rooker absolutely raking the ball as of late. And our boy Max Muncy also hit a 2-run bomb in the bottom of the first inning. That's his 8th of the year. That put the A's up 5-0 in the bottom of the first inning. So Jeffrey Springs had a lot of room to work with yesterday, and he didn't need much. He only allowed 1 run.
Didn't need much.
Shout out to Jeffrey.
Shout out. And I mean, when runs score in baseball, they come in bunches.
Oh, that's facts.
I
just hope the A's didn't use up all their runs like they did in Game 1 against the Giants, because that seems to happen a lot. When you have a big night scoring, the next night it's going to be tough to score 2 runs, which it always happens in baseball. But you just hope they save some runs for tonight.
I mean, you go up 4, and it's like. Then your pitcher can go out there, and as a pitcher, you could do whatever you want.
Yeah, you can relax.
Start throwing balls down the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, he went into the first inning back into the second inning because they were at home with 5 runs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 5-0, and he just went out there and did what you're supposed to do with a big lead: throw strikes, attack guys, don't walk guys. Couple hits,
that's what
scattered
he did.
them.
Yeah.
And, I like it with not a lot of Ks too. It's always interesting to see because it means that. You're pitching effectively to contact.
Yeah.
And I always like that. It's something that's, you don't see a lot in the game these days.
Yeah, quality pitches. That's what Jeffrey Springs was doing yesterday.
Make your defense work.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Jesse Chavez came in the second inning, so the Braves went from the youngest player in the MLB to putting in the oldest player in the MLB. Jesse Chavez is 41 years old, so he's 21 years older than more than double the age of Fuentes.
He's older than Verlander, huh? Because he's oldest in the league.
Yeah, he's the oldest in the league.
Dude grabbed a beer, and that kid was born. The next day.
That's actually insane. Well, Jesse Chavez didn't have any better luck than the youngest player in the league because Nick Kurtz came up with the bases loaded and hit his first career grand slam in the second inning. That's his 14th bomb of the year already for the rookie Nick Kurtz, and that put the A's up 9-0.
It was pretty
so
funny.
good.
I was getting off of work yesterday, and I was looking up the A's score. I was just checking, and one app said it was like 5-0, and then I look it up and it says like 9-0. I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then I look at the stats. Shout out Nick, man.
Our boy.
Shout out Nick.
Shout out to our boy Brady. Also was at the game yesterday. Shouting out Nick, hitting that granny. But yeah, that put the A's up 9-0 in just the second inning. So this game was pretty much over by that point. Lawrence Butler also wanted to tack on some more to his stats. He hit another homer in the third inning. That's his 13th bomb of the year, his second homer of the game. That put the A's up 10-0.
Hey, when you earn one, you get an actual one.
Facts.
Right after.
Yeah, he got it inside the park and a real homer. So shout out to Law Dog Lawrence Butler, definitely the player of the game yesterday.
100%.
Well, Eli White for the Braves hit a solo homer in the that's what I was thinking too. Hit a solo homer in the 5th inning off Jeffrey Springs, and that was all that the Braves got yesterday. The final was 10-1. Easy dub for the A's. Tonight might be a little more difficult with using all our runs yesterday and not facing the youngest player in the MLB.
I think the confidence carries over.
I hope it does.
I think we're going to be staying hot, just like in Sacramento. It's hot.
Yeah.
So
I saw Brent Rooker post when he made the All-Star game, or before he made it, our boys are heating up in the summer months, and it was highlights of the A's offense hitting bombs. So
who's pitching tomorrow or today for the Braves?
Mitch
for the
Spence
Braves
tonight.
I don't know who's pitching for the Braves.
Because I was gonna say,
Freed, is it?
Maybe they did use up all their runs. He's on the
Oh
Yankees.
yeah, he left the Yankees.
Yeah, he did.
Maybe they did use up. I was just
Elder.
Dude, I totally forgot he left. The
Elder's
Yankees.
pitching today, and Strider's pitching for them tomorrow.
So at least
that's who I know.
I was gonna say the Giants thing is a little different because you went from Verlander. Did Verlander pitch that first game? Who pitched that first game?
I think Verlander pitched.
Yeah, you go from Verlander to a guy who's top 5 in Cy Young
Yeah.
at this point in the year. So I mean that's a little different.
Yeah.
Here, if they were going to Strider today, then I'd be a little bit, maybe because I think he's just coming back, but I think he's gonna get back to form pretty quickly here. But I think they come out with this one tonight. Yeah. Like you said, confidence carries over, especially when you're not going against the Cy Young.
Come on.
Yeah.
Let's win some series.
Win them early and then get greedy in the last game.
Facts. Well, Mitch Spence is pitching tonight for the A's, and JP Sears will pitch in Game 3 of the series. So hopefully 2 more dubs coming our way.
Hopefully. Hopefully, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I haven't been since when did I go last? I think it was a Rangers when they were in town.
Yeah.
Went to an A's
Early
Rangers
in the
game.
year.
And they won. They won like 9-3 or something like
Hey,
that.
you're
Shout
the
out.
charm.
Yeah.
You're the good luck.
I
Well,
hope.
then after the Brave series, the Blue Jays come to town, and they are first place in the AL East.
Probably the hottest team in the MLB right now.
Yeah,
They just lost.
they're hitting.
They were on a 9-game, 10-game winning streak, and then they just lost to the Cubs 2-1 the other.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, some big games coming up for the A's. But before we move on, Dev, give me a little bit of your thoughts on the second 2 games of that Giants series. We talked about Logan Webb dominating
like I said,
in game 2.
you get Webb, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Did they get one? They got a run off him, right?
Yeah, they got one. It was a sack fly or something.
Yeah. The third game, I mean, Roop's just been pitching really well, and he's kind of getting up there in innings. This is the most he's pitched, but I think the stuff still looks really good, so the break's going to be good for him. But yeah, I think they got the weak link in the first game, and then got 2 better pitchers, and I think it was a little bit tougher. The third game was a little bit more exciting. I think it went back and forth a little bit more, but yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping to see happen. We needed guys to get hot. Adames had a couple home runs.
Adames killed the A's in that series, man. That was big.
He hit one last night that caught right in front of the wall, and I'm like, I wish we were still in Sac.
He's hitting the ball better now.
But he's starting to hit the ball.
Yeah.
Good
Also
to get Chapman
Ramos.
back in that second game. That was pretty
Ramos.
cool.
Ramos had a big game.
Yeah. The offense is just like they were, a little poo-poo. A week ago it was the sky's falling. Now it's, we're good again. But, I'm riding the train too. So, but yeah, their offense is playing good at a good time, and, just carried into the break. And, but yeah, I was hoping that was what was going to happen. We needed some guys to get going and in a place that you could hit. And off of a pitcher in that second game that I was like, you gotta touch this guy.
Severino.
We don't score 5 runs off
Severino. I really hope that was his last start as an A.
At Sac, at least.
If
we were in San Francisco, different story.
Different story.
I don't care. No,
don't pitch him at home. Trade him.
Trade him.
I'm ready to move on. The Giants won game 2 7-2 and game 3 6-2. So pretty consistent for the Giants in those next 2 games.
I was thinking for future bets and whatnot, instead of doing like $10, or we keep the $10, but instead of 10 push-ups, you push up the run differential. And
okay.
I like that.
Right?
I like that.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to
And
use
times
that
it by
next
10.
Gonna have to use that next year.
5
they don't play
push-ups
anymore.
and 4 push-ups ain't enough. I need to get in the gym. So
well, we can also make other bets.
Give me 90.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's crazy that
90.
I'm down.
they played
I used to hit 100 a day.
Dude,
more
I can't.
games
I
this
Back in
year
the day.
than they ever
Back in my
did.
prime.
I'm weak, man.
Yeah.
Back in my prime, I was hitting 100 push-ups a day. Not no more.
You're big. You're like Jacob Wilson.
I'll mix them between sit-ups and push-ups.
Shout out.
I'll do both.
Need the abs.
Yeah.
Summer is here. Well, all right. So we went over the upcoming games for the A's, and now we're going to get into Brent Rooker being an All-Star. The A's having 2 All-Stars. Brent Rooker's stats are 271 batting average, 19 bombs, 50 RBIs. Well deserved for Brent Rooker. I was very hyped to see. I did not expect the A's to have 2 All-Stars because the MLB. But hey, maybe they're showing us a little love on the offensive side at least.
They're also probably like John Fisher's just saying like,
Well,
hey, I'm
John
doing this.
Fisher said, Rob.
Well,
They extended him, so maybe that's why.
All-Star.
I'm just saying like, yeah, he's MLB. Rob Manfred's just like, yo, thanks for moving to Vegas.
We'll hook you up now.
We're gonna hook you up with 2 All-Stars.
Now you can sell more All-Star jerseys.
Do all this.
ridiculous to
And
say
now you
that.
could trade them away.
No,
Don't say
stop.
that.
I'm really scared of what
Don't you
the
put
A's
that
do in the
evil
next
on me, Ricky
coming
Bobby.
years.
I did want to bring up this crazy fact. I feel bad for. I mean, Royals, they're looking all right. They're decent. But in 2022, the Royals DFA'd Brent
I did see
Rooker
that. Yeah.
and Ryan O'Hearn.
Yep.
And now, 3 years later, 2025,
All-Stars.
both
So he
All-Stars.
came up with the Royals?
I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
I
But
had
yeah,
no
you
idea.
did. Shout out.
Wow.
But shout out. Yeah, no. Shout out the Royals for cutting him.
He's
Yeah.
only like 26,
Motivated him.
27, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, I mean, sorry, Brent. You look amazing on the baseball field, but you look a little bit older
He
than
does.
you
He
actually are.
got an old face.
He's a vet.
got
He's
an
our
old
vet.
face.
Yeah.
He's our vet, man. Him and Shay. All right. Well,
Oh,
let's-
wait,
30.
never mind. He's 30.
That's not
Okay.
bad.
Yeah.
never
He
mind. I
looks
thought
good
he
for
was
30.
Like, the way you guys are talking, I thought he was like going to be 20.
Yeah, I did not know he came up with the Royals. You
That's,
just put
yeah.
a fact in my brain. Thank you.
Of course. I learn something new every day.
yeah, shout out. Well, let's predict some future A's All-Stars going around the diamond.
Nick
Who
Kurtz,
do we think?
automatically.
Yeah, Nick
Yeah.
Kurtz.
Colby
definitely
Thomas.
my number 1. I want to say Colby Thomas. I would love that.
I'll say right now, I got
Lawrence
Nick
Butler.
Kurtz, Lawrence Butler,
Lawrence Butler. He said this year he looked at something on his phone every day. His alarm said be an all-star. And he didn't make it.
Oh, wait, he didn't do it.
He didn't do it. So he's going to have to put in more work and get there next year.
Do it next year, bro. I think he can. For another year.
I think he can.
I do.
I think he's going to be able to do it.
Him and Kurtz soon, even though Kurtz is a rookie.
So Lawrence Butler, Nick Kurtz, hopefully Colby Thomas.
Going to make about
obviously
5
Jacob
more.
Wilson.
If they are on the mend right now, if they just keep getting better the way that they're going, like we said early in the show, like this has been a successful year because we see guys that are coming out immediately making a difference, like not automatically because the consistency still needs to build up. But seeing it right now, like again, it's very successful year. Very successful, and I could see 4 All-Stars in the next 2 or 3 years.
How about Jacob
Soderstrom?
Lopez?
Jacob Lopez, that's our pitcher? He's old. He's not young. I think he's around 30.
We have another year like this next year.
Yeah.
I mean,
I could see
why
it.
not?
Yeah, but
I could see it.
I think
Gage Jump.
I could
putting my money in now.
I could see 4 position players for All-Stars next year.
Yeah.
Tommy Tanks.
Like 2 starters
Tommy
maybe
Tanks.
and 2 backups.
Tommy White.
When's he coming up?
I know. And who else? Tyler Soderstrom. He started off the year leading the league in homers. He's been cold. He did hit 1 homer against the Giants. That was his first home run in over a month.
That'll take some time.
That will. But so we got some guys that we think can be all-stars. Yeah, Denzel is someone I think could get some all-star
hit that
love.
Ball 485 feet.
Yeah.
So I mean,
he's only 23 or 24.
And the defense ain't going nowhere.
No.
So that could get him in solely just because of defense. They want to see some crazy catches in the all-star game.
Yeah. They need to make a skills game.
That would be fire.
And I mean,
or they should put Denzel in the home run derby and see how many home runs he can rob.
Yeah.
I saw that. That could be clean. That could be clean. All right, so some guys were predicting. Nick Kurtz.
Yep.
Colby Thomas.
Colby Thomas.
Yep.
Lawrence Butler.
Lawrence Butler. Denzel. I'm going to say, I want to say Max Muncy so bad. I love Max Muncy, but I don't think he's going to be on that level.
Yeah.
He is raking as of late. Soderstrom, I think, has a little chance. And I'm going Gage Jump, man. I'm going Gage Jump. Give me a year. He'll be an all-star.
I haven't seen much of him, so
nasty lefty in like Double-A right now. So maybe in a couple of years.
Who knows?
We just drafted him though.
Potential.
Potential. Yeah, he has potential in MLB, so they know.
So he's nice.
They're locked in. So some future all-stars coming the A's way. Hopefully in the next 2 or 3 years we see a ton. But before we move on, I wanted to bring up that I watched the 2016 All-Star game yesterday.
Oh, really?
On YouTube. I didn't, obviously not the full game. It showed the full pre-game where they show every player. They announce every player.
Who's our pitcher in that one?
The A's only had 1 player in the All-Star game. Not a pitcher. I wanted to see if you guys can guess who it is. In 2016.
Donaldson.
No, it is he's managing in the MLB right now.
Vogt.
Yeah,
Oh,
Stephen Vogt. Stephen Vogt was our only All-Star in 2016. But I wanted to mention that the Giants had a lot of players in this All-Star game in 2016.
Was it 4?
I think 3 or 4.
Buster Posey.
Buster Posey was starting behind the plate. Bum was not on the mound.
2016.
But the Giants did have the starting pitcher and the starting catcher in this game.
I think they had Crawford made it that year.
I think you're right. I think Crawford did make it. Also, one other position player.
Panic.
No, Panic was never.
He was an All-Star
an
with
All-Star?
Crawford one time.
No.
Yeah, I think it was in 2016.
No, it wasn't 2016 because I just watched it. It was a first baseman.
Oh, so Belt.
Belt made it.
Yeah.
But who was the starting pitcher with Posey behind the plate? The Giants had also the starting pitcher in
Kershaw.
this game. No, the Giants had the starting pitcher.
Oh,
Wasn't Kane?
2016 was Johnny Cueto.
Johnny Cueto.
I was going back to
Oh.
He
like
was
12.
so good in 2016.
Yeah. That.
And then
Dude, I
watching
forgot
those
he was on the-
lineups was crazy. It was David Ortiz's last All-Star game. Gave him a standing
I remember
ovation.
that.
They had a ton of legends in there. It was actually really fun to watch
2016,
those
that was,
starting
fun.
lineups.
I've watched back when the Giants players used to make the All-Star teams. I used to actually watch the games, and those were fun times.
No, those
back
were
then
fun
with all
All-Star
those
games
stars.
to watch. A lot of fun names that you saw in that All-Star game. But yeah, moving on.
Damn.
The All-Star game is coming up.
Damn. Yeah. Ian Desmond on the Rangers.
Yeah,
still.
Ian Desmond.
Carlos Beltran on the
Carlos
Yankees.
Beltran on the Yankees. Yeah, that was crazy to see.
Lindor was still
Keep
on the
naming some
Indians.
names. Yeah.
Oh, Donaldson was on the Blue Jays.
Donaldson, yeah, that
He
was
on the Blue
fire.
Jays at
When
this
they
time.
announced him, I had to stand up and give him a
He
standing
won
O
MVP that year, right?
in my room. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
2016.
Keep naming some names. Keep naming some names if you
let's
got it
see.
pulled up.
Craig Kimbrell was still on the Red Sox.
Yep.
Ian Kinsler on the Tigers.
Ian
Evan
Kinsler.
Longoria on the Rays.
Evan Longoria.
Dustin Pedroia was still in the league.
Ian Kinsler. He was on. I forgot when
George
he was on the
Springer was
Tigers.
still on the Astros. Boo.
Yeah.
Miguel,
was
Miguel
in there.
Cabrera.
Miguel Cabrera, legend.
Robinson Cano.
On the Mariners.
When he was on the Mariners,
I saw
dude.
that, yeah.
Xander Bogaerts on the Red Sox.
Mark Trumbo.
This game
Mark
was...
Trumbo.
I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
he hit
dude.
bombs. This game was in San Diego, and looking back at all the starting lineups, the Padres fans were booing any NL West team.
Bro.
Like Corey Seager got announced for the Dodgers, and the boos in the stadium were crazy. But also, I wanted to mention that so many players that got announced that got booed in this game, like Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, they're
Are
all
now
on the
on the team.
Padres
Yeah.
now. So it's actually crazy.
I forgot that this is when the Red Sox should have won. Like,
Yeah, the Red Sox had like 10 All-Stars. It was
also they had the Xander Bogaerts, Mookie Betts, Jackie
Mookie,
Bradley Jr.,
David Ortiz. Jackie Bradley Jr. You know who else was an All-Star?
Craig Kimbrell
Yeah.
was on the team, and then who was it? Right, like their closer was also. Damn, no, they were stacked.
They were stacked.
They were stacked.
But you know who was also an All-Star that I did not know was ever an All-Star? And I saw a post on Instagram about how this guy was supposed to be really good. Addison Russell from the Chicago
yeah.
Cubs.
He
Young
fell
shortstop.
off
Yeah,
one
he
year. I
fell off.
remember.
What happened to
He
Addison
won
Russell?
the World Series with the Cubs.
He
that
was
year in
supposed to be
2016.
nice.
That's why Javi Baez was playing second base.
Yeah.
It's
He
'cause
was
they
supposed to
got
be
Addison
him. He
Russell.
had a potential in MLB for sure.
I forgot about that's
Yeah.
a forgotten name.
There was so many forgotten names that I saw in that starting lineup.
I mean, his
the
last
other
year
day.
wasn't
Damn,
that
he only
good.
played 5 years in the
Dude,
MLB.
he was supposed to be the guy as shortstop. Then they got Dansby, right?
Wasn't even
What
that
was the 2016
bad of a
year?
player.
Yeah,
I guess.
2016
Like,
he was an All-Star, so that's pretty
only
crazy.
played 82 games in 2019, and
Jeez.
Yeah, he had 95 RBIs in
Oh
2016.
my God. Yeah, he was raking. So yeah, shout out to that All-Star game. It was actually really fun to watch that. But all right, I guess we're moving on to our favorite A's memory. Favorite A's memory.
favorite A's memory. Damn, I was thinking about these. There was a couple.
All right, well, I'll start. In 2019, while playing for the Oakland Athletics, Mike Fears pitched a no-hitter against the Cincinnati Reds. It was the second no-hitter of his career and the 300th in Major League Baseball history. The A's won this game 2-0, had some unusual circumstances, including a lightning delay before the start and a high pitch count for Fears, who threw 131 pitches in the game.
Bring me back.
To that level of baseball. In 2019, his second career no-hitter. High pitch count.
That was right after he called out the Astros, too.
Yeah, it was.
He was a leak.
So the game had a 90-minute delay because of lighting issues in the outfield, and the A's had some big defensive plays in this game, such as Jurickson Profar and Ramon Laureano in the outfield making big plays.
Yep.
So shout out to Mike Fears, A's legend.
Wasn't that the throw from Laureano, the one that went over the first baseman's head, and then
But it was a no-hitter.
Well, I know because Laureano caught. Oh no, yeah, never mind.
I know what you're talking about.
No,
though.
yeah,
I do know what you're talking
my bad.
about.
Yeah,
but I don't know if that would make sense. Because,
No, yeah.
But yeah.
Well, you can still have a no hitter and have a walk. Dude could have walked him, but that wasn't the game.
But shout out to Mike Fears, man, the 300th career no hitter in MLB history.
Shout
A's legend. He didn't throw that hard, but he
so
was pretty nasty.
I was looking trying to come up with one of my favorite memories, and that was going to be one of them.
Oh, shit.
But the one that I want to talk about was April 29th, 2013.
Uh-oh. What is this?
The
Love
A's
these years.
beating the Angels in a 19-inning game.
I have this on my list, dude.
I remember.
Can I guess who walked off?
Yeah.
Brandon Moss.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it.
6 hours
Need him on the
and
show.
32
Moss.
minutes.
I need to hit him
I
up.
remember staying up.
Wow.
I stayed
pretty
up for
much-
that game,
I
too.
remember watching the whole game. I fell asleep for a little bit, and then I woke back up.
I
and
think
it
this was on a
still
random
on.
Tuesday.
It was just a random day.
And I had school the next day, and I stayed up the whole game.
It lasted 6 hours and 32 minutes.
Wonder why my sleep schedule's messed up. It's because of
Ending
A's baseball in
at
2013.
1:41 a.m.
Yeah,
That's
I
insane.
do remember that. I do
A's-
remember that.
That's
A's
West
won-
Coast time.
That's
man.
West Coast.
A's won 10-8.
10-8. And
Brandon Moss had
how many innings?
19 innings.
19 innings.
19
Wow.
innings.
The Giants had something like that in the playoffs.
18.
18.
Yeah, no,
Who
it
did
was
That
good
one
in
good.
that
didn't
game?
feel as long.
They were
though.
also down
Petit.
7-2.
Petit went like 4 innings.
They were down
The
7-2
A's
in
were
this
down
game.
7-2.
That's the 2013 A's, man.
and they
Never
came
give
back.
up. Never give up.
That's
Shout out
insane.
B. Moss. Walk off.
Albert Pujols
in 19 innings.
hit 2 home runs for
Oh,
him.
Bulls on the Angels is
Brett
crazy.
Anderson.
Brett Anderson, A's legend.
Yeah, no, he was
Got
the one who
raked.
started
Got raked.
and went five innings and 5 1/3 inning.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a crazy
great
game.
pool.
I love that pool.
Great
I love
game.
that pool. I definitely have that on
Great
my
game.
list of A's memories. Got to mark that one off.
Got
Got to take that one off. I like that you brought it up.
The game involved combined 40 players,
Ooh.
597 pitches.
Dude, the stadium was like so
16
empty
yeah.
when the 19th inning came around, but right field was still rocking. It was
16
crazy.
pitchers,
You can't leave.
35,
You can't leave.
35 strikeouts, and 31 hits.
Yeah. Imagine leaving that game in like the 15th inning. Like, I can't do it
I
anymore.
can't do it.
Parents with their kids, like, man, it's getting late. We got school the next day. Why are we still here? To miss
I
a
would've
Brandon
thrown
Moss
a
walk-off.
fit.
Great game.
Yeah.
Somebody tried
Shout
to take
out.
me away from
Yeah, I got to stay the whole game. But yeah, this has been Bleav in A's episode number 10. We're officially in double digits.
Let's go.
So shout out to the Bleav Network, believing in us. We are on YouTube, Beam City Sports, also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Bleav in A's. Go check us out. But yeah, we'll be back twice a week. Next episode coming out on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
Cheers.
Cheers.